A father was out fishing with his son when he snapped a few casual photos. Nothing seemed unusual until they looked at the pictures again. That's when the son spotted something disturbing. A pale, white figure standing behind a tree in the background. They hadn't seen anyone out there at the time and were shocked to realize they may not have been alone. Whoever or whatever was standing there remains a mystery. A group of people were swimming when they got an unexpected visitor. A large reptile glided silently just beneath the surface, then surfaced only feet away from the swimmers. Surprisingly, there was no panic. While many viewers assumed it was a dangerous saltwater croc, one commenter pointed out it was actually an American crocodile, generally less aggressive than its Australian or Southeast Asian cousins. Still, its closeness made the moment nothing short of chilling. A woman and her family were walking along the beach after fishing when strange things started to unfold. The street lights began flickering, only in one spot, and near the water stood a woman in a white dress, completely still, like it was somehow connected. Too scared to go alone, she urged two guys to check it out. Tension builds, but just as they get close, the video cuts off.
Olha os meninos gritando pra ela. Olha lá.
Será que ele se aproxima?
Eu vou descer só pouquinho aqui. Eu dou zoom.
Parece que eu já tô tranquila.
Aí agora eles vão começar a jogar areia nela. Não faz isso não! Pergunta se ela tá bem!
Não faz isso não, moço!
Pergunta se ela tá bem!
No clue filmed it, who the woman was, or what happened when they approached her. At first, it didn't seem staged. Her reaction looked genuinely scared. But when the video cuts off like that, the doubts start creeping in. A Reddit user was on a fishing trip when he came across something strange and posted it online. A hermit crab, of all things, had crawled into a plastic doll's head instead of a shell. Hermit crabs usually go for seashells, but this one chose a much creepier look. If you were walking along the beach and saw that thing moving towards you, you'd definitely take a few steps back. During a surf competition at Itacoatiara Beach in Rio de Janeiro, surfer Igor Quiores found himself in a brutal situation near the rocks at Shock Reef, an infamous spot where waves crash violently over a shallow outcrop. The sea was relentless, tossing him around with force. A rescue team on jet skis arrived quickly, braving the chaos. Fortunately, they managed to grab a hold of him and got everyone back safely. In early 2025, a couple visiting Larcomar Beach in Lima captured something eerie. While fishing and watching the sunset, they noticed a dark, shadowy figure walking across the water, as if it had solid ground beneath it. The area is known to be deep, making the sight even stranger. The figure resembled a person, but moved differently. The couple left more confused than relaxed. Their peaceful evening turned into a mystery. To this day, no one has been able to explain what they saw. A man lowered a fish into an opening that led to a body of water below. Within seconds, this happened. Something yanked it so violently that only the fish's head remained in his hand. You couldn't see what did it. It could have been a pike or a barracuda. Both are known for fast, brutal bites. Maybe even an alligator or crocodile. Whatever it was, the man was lucky it missed his fingers. A Reddit user named RobConan96 once posted a short but gripping underwater clip. As he swam through murky water, something terrifying happened. A massive shark appeared out of nowhere and bumped against his head. Fortunately, nothing bad happened, but it was one of those heart-stopping, close calls. This footage was posted on May 11, 2025 by the YouTube channel Deer River Wild, known for peaceful cabin builds and snowy hikes. But this time, things took a creepy turn. While checking trail cams around his remote, he saw this. A man, bundled up, casually walking into frame. He didn't look lost. He circled the cabin, entered, looked around. No damage, no theft, just trespass. For a place days from civilization, the visit felt deeply unsettling. Who was he, and what was he doing out there? Fishermen in Brazil stumbled upon something they had never seen before. At first they thought it was just pieces of fabric or plastic, but then they saw it moving. One of them pulled one of these creatures out from the water. It looked almost like a bat, but creepy. Do any of you know what this could be, or do you think it's a hoax? A guy was magnet fishing by the river when his hook latched onto something creepy. It was a mask, but not just any mask, a plague doctor mask. The thing had an eerie vibe, like it carried a past soaked in something dark. No one around could say where it came from. Maybe it was part of some twisted ritual, or maybe just someone's Halloween costume, or something worse. One evening, a group was relaxing on a boat when something terrifying happened. A missile suddenly soared past and exploded mid-air. Moments later, a second missile flew by. Then the video cuts off. No explanation, no location. Where was this filmed, and what exactly was going on out there? Larry went on a chill fishing trip with his buddies Vic and Jeremy in the backwoods of Moab. They had been out there for a few days, and one windy night, while sitting around a makeshift fire, things got weird.
There they are, right above. Can you see those? There's one really bright one. Up here, there's a really bright light. There's three. There's three again. One went away. Oh, it's coming back. Look, there's another bright one. All right, there's two bright ones. Now they both went away. There they come. Here's another one. Another bright one. There's two bright ones again.
Lights appeared in the sky, silent and bright. Feeling uneasy, he retreated into his camper, but sleep didn't come easy.
All right. I know you guys have got to see some of those lights. We were standing out there about a half an hour ago, and there was three, just a blatant triangle, and there were the three brightest lights in the sky. And then they all just kind of like turned and disappeared. And then they just kept, whatever it was, like the three lights just kept turning and coming back, and they're just hovering in the same spot. Like I said, for about the last half an hour now, they're still going on out there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was, I mean, like, I don't want to say like alien spaceship or something, but like, they definitely didn't act like satellites. Definitely wasn't airplanes. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I don't know. I almost want to keep going back out there. I might have to switch out the battery and go back out there again and see if they're still doing it. But that's got to be probably one of the creepiest things I've seen in the sky before.
By morning, the group packed up quietly. Nobody said it, but they all felt it. Something was off up there.
What do you think of the lights last night?
I have no idea what that was. I mean, it could have been a UFO. Who knows?
Yeah, the first initial three, like in that triangle when we first saw it, we couldn't get the camera out fast enough. Like, that was the craziest one. I kind of wish I had that on camera, but they were definitely just over here spinning around all night long.
Yeah, it's so unusual.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that before.
I haven't either. I guess we're going to pack up and head out here in a minute or soon once we get everything put in the trailers.
It's going to be a process, but we'll get it done. I believe in it.
As locals cooled off in the water of Esperantinopolis, Maranhão, a strange creature suddenly appeared. Some guessed it was a croc floating belly up or a snake with a full stomach, but those who were right there still couldn't say for sure. If it were that simple, you would think someone would have recognized it. Casal DM, a Brazilian couple known for escaping into the wild to fish and cook simple meals by the river, recently had a chilling encounter deep in Rio de Almas, Goiás. After a long day of fishing, they set up camp far from anyone. Just the two of them, their dog, and the quiet cackle of a fire. As they cooked dinner, their dog suddenly grew anxious, barking and pacing like something was nearby.
Ô, esse cachorro acuou.
Tá lá, latindo. Será que é o quê?
Tá pra lá, gente, ó. Ó.
At first, they brush it off as normal forest sounds. But later, when they shone a flashlight into the darkness, they saw it.
Calor.
Ó, capim.
a large black snake slowly circling near their camp. Fortunately, it moved on without incident. The couple and their brave dog made it out safely. People say we've explored only 5% of the ocean, and one fisherman might have seen a piece of the rest. While pulling in his net, he found a fish that looked all wrong. Its eyes were stuck on one side of its head, too close together, and its mouth looked more like a wrinkle than a jaw. Spooked, he tossed it back. The video freaked people out, with many calling it alien, but it turns out it's probably just a flounder, a bottom-dwelling fish with naturally weird features. Not poisonous, just rare and really unsettling if you're not ready to see one up close. A group of fishermen were out boating near Zabin, Belarus, when they noticed a thick swarm of insects hovering right over the water. To show how bad it was, they held their caps over the surface as the boat moved. Within seconds, the caps were covered with mosquitoes. They weren't the only ones dealing with it. Locals had been complaining too. Bus stops, parks, and playgrounds were all swarming with bugs. No one really knew why it was happening. At Green Harbour Beach, people stumbled upon a strange creature lying in the sand. It looked like a flower, or maybe a bird, at first, but up close it got weirder. It had pink wing-like flaps and a thick, long tail. No clear mouth, no obvious fins, just alien-looking all over. Beachgoers stood around, unsure whether to touch it or stay away in case it was toxic. Even after digging around online, no one could figure out what it was. In the frozen Arctic, an old ship from the 1700s was found trapped in ice. Inside, the captain's body was still in his seat, frozen solid, perfectly preserved like a statue. His clothes and face looked untouched, frozen in time. The cold had kept his body from rotting for centuries. No sign of the crew, no clue why the ship was left adrift. Maybe they abandoned him. Maybe he was the last man standing. No one really knows. A fisherman recently captured something chilling on camera while boating on a quiet river. A massive, mysterious figure appeared beneath the water's surface, something that didn't belong there. Now, many are wondering if it could have been connected to Loch Ness-type legends. Judging by the size, it could have easily capsized his boat. The fisherman was lucky to get away. What kind of gigantic creature could be roaming that river? Fishermen were surprised to see this unknown creature washed ashore. They thought it might be a horn shark, but nothing about it really looked familiar. It's small, only about a foot or two long, but its alien features are unsettling. Was it mutated? The ocean seems full of surprises, and sometimes they wash up right at our feet. Something extraordinary happened one day on a beach in the Philippines. Out of nowhere, hundreds of fish began leaping out of the water, crowding the shoreline like they were trying to escape something. No one could tell exactly what species they were, and there was no sign of a predator nearby. People rushed to capture the moment and to grab some of the fish, clueless about what had triggered the scene. Maybe it was a sudden underwater shift, maybe a temperature change, but there was no clear explanation. It almost felt like a miracle. One early morning at North Topsail, a fisherman found something strange and posted it on Facebook. A cleanly halved shark had washed up on the shore. Locals were left guessing. What could have attacked a shark like that? Someone was fishing by a river under a big bridge, casually panning the camera around on a sunny day. But then, out of nowhere, something strange popped up. This grey creature, shaped kind of like a person but not quite human, stepped out from behind a bridge pillar. But before they could get a proper look, it slipped back and disappeared. No one can really explain what happened here. Why would anyone, or anything, be up there? Nothing about it made sense, and people started wondering if it might have been an alien. A few guys were hanging out by the beach when they spotted something odd on the shore. At first glance, it looked like seaweed or some random trash, but as they got closer, they realized the shore was littered with dead fish. Their skin looked burnt or eaten away, and their eyes were just empty sockets. Some looked rotten, but strangely, most of the bodies were still intact. It didn't feel natural. Does anyone have an idea of what could have done this? A little girl and her family were admiring this sea lion swimming beneath them when this happened.
Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, right.
Without hesitation, her father jumped in and managed to rescue her within seconds. What would have happened if her father hadn't jumped in? While casting a line into a still pond, an observer noticed a square-shaped object floating quietly on the surface, looking almost alive. But within moments, it started to break apart. The solid shape crumbled into dozens of tiny balls that scattered across the water. No one knew exactly what it was. Some guessed it might be a plant releasing seeds. Others thought it was something more bizarre, maybe even unnatural. Take a look at this creepy video taken at a beach in the Bahamas.
Example, what happened if you drop inside this water? That's what happened if you drop inside this water. Jump inside the water then.
Nobody really goes swimming at this beach. Sharks hang around all the time because fishermen clean fish nearby and just toss the scraps right into the water. That makes the shark stick around, waiting for an easy meal. Most of these sharks are black-tip reef sharks, usually pretty chill, but still not something you want to swim with. People always warn not to swim near piers or where fishing happens because the sharks patrol those spots. Even locals stay out of the water here, knowing it's basically shark territory. Fortunately, tourists do not always know. A man was cleaning a shallow, muddy waterway when something beneath the surface caught his eye.
And I come across this skull. And I want to believe that it's fake. But I'm just about to pull it out and see.
Buried in the silt, he glimpsed what looked like a human skull. He tried to retrieve it, but his tool kept slipping. Some viewers were convinced it was fake, while others believed he made a chilling discovery. After several attempts, he finally managed to pull it free. Fortunately, it turned out to be just a fake skull, but for a moment, it felt like something far more sinister. A group of fishermen set out in the Florida Keys expecting a routine catch, but what they hooked left them stunned.
Hopefully I got it.
The struggle was intense as the shark thrashed violently, eventually breaking free and vanishing into the depths. A boat was cruising along a river in Putumayo, Colombia, when something massive appeared in the water.
This is one large fish.
The shape moved quickly through the murky river, too fast and deliberate to be just a drifting log.
It's huge. You getting it on it? Yeah. Wow, dude. Follow.
The person filming tried to capture it, but the water was too cloudy to see clearly. Still, the dark figure surged forward again and again. Some who watch the video think it's a giant alligator or an anaconda. Others compare it to the Loch Ness Monster. Whatever it wasn't floating. It was alive, and it moved like it knew it was being watched. Two women were quietly drifting along the Mississippi. The water was calm until a sudden splash broke the silence. They looked over and froze. From beneath the surface, huge clawed paws emerged, snagging the fishing net beside them. At first, it looked like a bear's limbs, just claws and ripples. Then the beast surfaced. It wasn't a bear. It was an enormous alligator snapping turtle, drawn to the fish they'd caught. Startled, the women quickly unhooked the net. The turtle, satisfied, slipped back into the river, leaving behind only ripples and racing hearts. A group of fishers ventured into the water, attempting to catch a fish.
Fish? He's home.
Oh!
Yeah, right there would probably be good, Dad.
Oh, I got a mouth right. Oh, so that's you.
That's me. All right, well, then I'll try that.
All right. You're gonna try to scare him around him so it runs out here if you can.
All right, he's underneath me. Grab his mouth. It's under my left armpit.
Left?
Yep. You're almost killed.
I feel it. Got it.
All right.
Teamwork?
All right, I'm gonna go check for another one.
All right.
Easy.
At first glance, it looks downright terrifying. But this is noodling, a traditional fishing method where catfish are caught using only bare hands or feet. The technique involves reaching into underwater holes where catfish hide, hoping the fish will catch onto an arm or leg. As thrilling as it is, noodling comes with serious risks, bites, getting stuck, or even drowning. Because of these dangers and concerns over fish populations, some states have banned the practice. All that risk for a fish. A fisherman was at the beach when he noticed strange lights across the water. At first, it seemed like just a beam, but when he zoomed in, the shape looked eerily human. He realized these were humanoid figures, glowing faintly, appearing to stand on the water's surface. As he focused on one, another suddenly materialized beside it. This area was already rumored to be near an alien base, and with the sighting caught on camera, many believe these glowing entities could be real extraterrestrial beings. When a fisherman tried to remove a hook from a shark's mouth, he had to pry it open, and what's inside is chilling. The shark's mouth was packed with several rows of razor-sharp teeth, both on the upper and lower jaws. Each tooth looked like a blade, built to tear and shred. Luckily, the fisherman knew what he was doing and didn't get hurt during the process. By morning, 3 fishermen noticed something unusual on a small island, miles from where they had started. As they got closer, 2 figures slowly stood up and waved. Stranded on the sharp, oyster-covered land, 2 teenage girls were freezing and barely able to move. It turned out they had gone missing while paddleboarding near Tampa, and search efforts had been underway to find them. Rescuers wrapped them in towels and carried them to safety.
The teenagers said they had seen a helicopter fly over them 3 times during the night, but they couldn't get under the spotlight because the island they were stranded on was encrusted with knife-sharp oyster shells, and they were barefoot.
Luckily, the fishermen spotted them just in time. The RMS Queen Mary is a retired ocean liner now docked in Long Beach, California, is believed to be haunted. Among the many ghost stories tied to the ship, one of the most well-known involves a young girl who was said to have drowned in the ship's pool during its sailing days. Over the years, visitors have reported eerie encounters, footsteps echoing in empty halls, strange knocks, and sudden chills. One visitor took this photo and noticed something eerie the day after. Was this the girl? One sunny day at Lake Hickory, a man was out fishing when he spotted something shocking. An old World War II era flag waving near the Oxford Dam. When he shared it online, Reddit users quickly reacted with anger and disbelief. Many pointed out the region's troubled history with racism. And for more chills, watch this next video.